Good morning, everybody. Good morning. We're neighbors, we're friends, so we're really glad to be here with you. I want to start by saying that I really admire what all of you are doing and why you're here today. The truth is that I grew up, and I sort of scrambled most of what I was going to say last night after seeing the incredible energy there. I grew up fairly frightened of being different and of being Jewish. I wanted to start by telling you that. I grew up in Northern Virginia. I experienced my first Washington Lee High School, Arlington. Anyone? Yeah. So I heard my first slur, which was very hurtful to me when I was 8 or 9 years old. We had, as many family difficulties in my family as anybody else. We had a lot of economic trouble. My dad lost his job. And kind of the last thing I wanted growing up and being in elementary school, high school, was to be different. And so I assimilated. And I didn't really know what to make of being born into this faith and into this ethnicity. And then as I got older, something changed in my 30s. And then the key change for me was going to Israel for the second time when I was 40. And we had this unbelievable trip. And something really clicked hanging out with all those Sabras and seeing just the way that the country, I was there during the 65th anniversary. And my own journey of coming into being very proudly and strongly Jewish, I think gave me the strength that I needed when Nazis invaded the town that I was mayor of. It gave me the strength to understand where anti-Semitism comes from, that it doesn't say anything about us. It says something about the brokenness and the hurt of somebody who uses those ancient weapons. It gave me the strength to withstand just unbelievable attacks. I mean, if you go into public life, and I hope that all of you do, somebody left a voicemail on my phone of just Hitler ranting from a number. And I see a lot of this as basically the intent is to terrorize, it's to intimidate, and it's to control. And so our job, if we're confident, and if we know that this is our democracy and our country, it's to not ever let anybody intimidate us away from the work that we have to do. And the reason I'm telling you that story of my own journey from sort of frightened assimilationist to being whoever I wanted to be is that we need this courage and confidence to know that this is our country and it's our democracy as much or more than anybody else's. And so that's what gave me the confidence when these events happened in our city, to call out what I saw as a devil's bargain that had been struck between a political party and the alt-right. Over the last couple of years, these fringe elements that never had been comfortable to come out of the shadows were now fully on the main stage of American politics, and that is unacceptable. It cannot be allowed. So we all need confidence and courage and strength in this identity. The cause of the Jewish people, my goodness, it's to heal the breach, it's to heal the wounds in the world. That has never been more necessary. So the spirit, this energy, this confidence that you all have, I want you to keep it going. If the message here is about leadership, we need you bringing this energy into the next chapters of your career. We have tough fights ahead. If you see what's happening in Europe, if you see the forces between dark and light, if you see division being fostered and people being scapegoated, there is a lot of work ahead for every underdog in society and for people to stand up, whether it's through the law or the media or the private sector or universities. We are going to need your energy to keep on healing the breach in the world. So get into it. Keep on working. Take leadership positions. do this important work, rely on each other, build alliances, and see this as a beginning, not an end. And this is your democracy. It is our country, and we need to keep that foremost. Thank you very much for having me.
Good morning. 6 months ago, on the 12th, my daughter was killed. All she was doing was standing up with her friends, saying, "Whose streets? Our streets. Nazis go home." And a gentleman, only 19, 20 years old, decided that the lies of the hate were more valuable to him than human life, and he drove a car into a crowd of peaceful protesters, killing my child. Now, my child was an ordinary person. She was 32. She enjoyed a good time with her friends. Sorry to say she smoked cigarettes, but other than that, she was a pretty good person. Don't smoke. But the whole point of Heather's story is that you can be a driving force for change with the simplest act. Heather's favorite phrase was, "If you're not outraged, you're not paying attention." And what does that mean for you? You have to pay attention, number one. When you pay attention, you check your facts, you know your sources, and you verify everything. Don't act out of quick emotion, but always check your sources. Number two, be outraged. But outrage does not mean respond with violence. Outrage does not mean look for how you're going to get even. Outrage does not mean stoop to their level. Outrage means that you're going to be motivated to do something positive and nonviolent, something constructive, something to fix the problem. Number three, don't just make a plan of action, but put it to work. Put steps to your words. When you act on what you believe, you act with conviction, you act with a purpose, it has an impact. All Heather did was walk with her friends. She made the ultimate sacrifice just by doing that. She didn't go there to die, but she went knowing she could die, and she was willing to stand up anyway. You don't have to make the choice to die. Obviously, that's not the purpose here. The purpose is that you have the capability of today's young leaders of making a plan of action and going forward with it. You have the energy, you have the drive. I'm old, okay? I can get up and talk, but I'm not gonna have all the action and the energy that you have. You are an unstoppable force when you are motivated. Fourthly, be accountable for your actions. If you can't answer to people as to why you did something, then maybe you shouldn't be doing it. You need to stop and check yourself. I believe that you guys, with this wonderful energy, this wonderful intelligence, this natural leadership ability that I've seen in so many of you, are going to be the force that meets the rising hate. BBYO is rising, the hate's rising. There's going to be an ultimate battle of good and evil. Let's meet it with positive, nonviolent, direct action.